Good afternoon, everyone. At this time, I will call the People, Parks, and Public Works Committee to order and ask the clerk to take the roll.
Councilmember Monroe.
Here.
Councilmember Gruber.
Here.
Councilmember Patterson.
Here.
Vice President Harris.
Here.
President Melendez.
Here.
Thank you.
We will now proceed with the legislation. Introductory number 47, a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $1,165,000 bonds of said city to finance the Rundell Memorial Library Filtration and Intake Air Upgrades Project. We also have a disclosure for introductory 47, 48, and 49, as Councilmember Gruber is appointed to the Rochester Public Library board as a representative of council. He has to disclose and can participate in the deliberations and the vote. Do I have any questions, comments, or concerns?
Move it. Second.
Now we can vote. All in favor say yes.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Introductory number 48, authorizing an agreement with the Rundell Memorial Library Filtration and Intake Air Upgrades Project. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Move it. Oops, second.
Now we can vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Introductory number 49, authorizing an agreement related to the Rundell Memorial Library Terrace Evaluation and Repair Programs. Any question or comments?
Question.
Yes. Councilmember Patterson.
So in a lot of these projects, we have RPR services. I understand that we're not going to be doing that in-house, and I even understand why. But my question is, in many instances, these services are available. We can tap into state dollars for NYSET, especially with the highway work. How come we aren't tapping into NYSET dollars for the trainee options in these projects? And that's across the board in a lot of things. I'm not seeing or hearing that we're taking advantage of NYSET funding for trainees to develop the workforce, especially our city workforce, to move into these careers.
That's something we'll look into and certainly get back to you in writing.
Sure. So if we could, it's my hope that we could get a meeting scheduled, maybe possibly with DOT, where they could do a little training, the regional compliance specialist could come in, possibly talk to us about how the trainee program works, what are the resources that are available, and how we can access dollars. I think this creates a tremendous opportunity for us, especially since we're getting a fair amount of DOT funding. We do an awful lot of construction, and these opportunities, we just haven't been taking advantage of these opportunities over the years.
Will do.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, can I have a motion?
Move it.
Move it. Second.
Now we can vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Introductory number 50, authorize a grant agreement for the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York for the Honorable Willie Walker Lightfoot R Center for Equity and Justice Site Improvement Project. Any questions or comments, concerns?
Question.
Okay. President Melendez, Vice President Lachey Harris, followed by Councilmember Gruber.
Yes, thank you, Chair. The question I have, I noticed that we're looking to remove a pool that I think has largely been challenging to maintain, but replaced with a splash pad. And I know that one of the things in the city that we've been considerate of is having swimming pools available at our centers. And I just wanted to walk through, maybe understand the administration's take on switching from a pool to a splash pad.
For clarity, we're building a new pool also as a part of this project.
Got it. All right, that answers my question. Thank you.
Vice President Harris.
Thank you, Chair Monroe. I am excited to hear that because I had the same question. And I'm excited about that because it's in my district, right? And the other thing I'd like to know, is this going to be indoor or outdoor pool?
Outdoor.
So I have a simple request, and I'm not sure if it's too late to consider. Have you considered it being heated so we can get use out of it longer? Because that's the one misstep I thought about after the fact with the Genesee Valley Park pool. But I won't miss that the next time if I'm still here. But definitely heated so we can extend the season.
Your timing is very good. So we will be coming back to get a consultant on board to do the design. So we will be sure that they review that as a potential option within the design.
All right, thank you.
Councilmember Gruber?
Thanks. I'm really excited about this project. The transmittal says removal and replacement of an existing pool and development of a new splash pad. So can you walk me through a little bit? Is the splash pad going to be adjacent to the existing pool?
This is based on the master plan that was created. I think it would be great. We'll send you that master plan and the layout.
Okay, but I see Sarah nodding her head back there. Is it adjacent?
Yes, so we worked with DES to create a master plan for this location, for the site master plan, which is a overarching document, which obviously can be brought into more focus. But yes, the plan is that they will be relatively adjacent.
Okay,
as well as the playground.
Thanks. And the pool itself is like Avenue D. It's a very small pool. Are we talking about expanding the envelope? Bigger pool?
So obviously some of those details will be worked out with the consultant and refining of the master plan, but it will be a larger pool than currently exists at that site, and a larger area for folks to lounge. I don't know the exact size. It will not be a Genesee Valley Park pool.
Sure.
But
yeah.
Something more on the realm of AVD or slightly larger than what it currently is.
Okay. I mean, Holly, I presume we wouldn't replace a pool if we weren't going to expand the envelope, right? We would just modernize the pool if we were going to just keep the same footprint.
Anytime we're doing a replacement, we always look to do something bigger and better than what's there.
Okay.
On all fronts.
Thanks.
So.
It sounds like I appreciate those answers. It sounds like we should take a look at the master plan. If you've already sent it to us, I apologize for my ignorance, but if you could just send it back to staff, I'd love to see it. But very excited about the project. And my last question is, given the size of this, do you think the dollar amount here is, I guess you just said you're going to come back to us next month. So what are we paying for this month, and what do you expect to come in future months?
So this is generally to appropriate the DOT funds and the bonds and the water bonds. I apologize. I'm on the wrong item.
It looks like it's about 1.4 million. Is that roughly the cost of the project, or is there a lot more money to come?
That number is based on our current estimates. So when we get into design, we'll have to verify those estimates.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Can I have a motion? Oh, yes.
And I'm glad that you answered those questions for Council Gruber. What would be how deep would this pool be? Will it be an upgrade, or will it be the same as what it was before?
My understanding based on the master plan is that this would be an upgrade to the existing pool, which I believe was 4 feet. It was uniform depth across, so this would be an upgrade to that. I'm not specific on the exact depths.
Can you get us the exact feet and how much it would be?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I'll move it.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Introductory number 50. authorizing we just did that. Okay, sorry. Introductory number 51, authorizing appropriations and agreement related to the Seneca Avenue reconstruction project, Norton Street to East Ridge Road. Any questions, comments?
Comment.
Yes.
Thank you to the administration for the investment in the Northeast. And I'll still be coming back about the regional compliance specialist and, you know, the NICET certifications and all that nice fun stuff.
Any other questions or comments?
Move it.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Introductory number 52. A bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $3,248,000 bonds of said city to finance the Seneca Avenue reconstruction project, Norton Street to East Ridge Road.
Move it.
Second.
Now we can vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Introductory number 53, a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $795,000 bonds of said city to finance water service improvements associated with the Seneca Avenue reconstruction project, Norton Street to East Ridge Road. Any questions or comments?
Move it.
Second.
Now we can vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. The motion carries. Introductory number 54, a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $2,786,000 bonds of said city to finance certain costs of the hazardous sidewalk replacement program, Northeast Quadrant Contract 2026, Phase 3. Questions, comments, or concerns?
Question.
Yes, Councilmember Patterson.
Okay. First of all, comment. Thank you for the money. Thank you for repairing the sidewalks. The work you guys did last summer was great. We're looking forward for the additional great work that you'll be doing. But it's my hope that we could find a way to develop an apprenticeship program for this work. Sidewalks are just not that difficult to do. Espana does a good work with sidewalks when they aren't spraying concrete on my car. But yeah. But with that being said, you know, this is the kind of work that really would be a nice gateway work for folks to get into the construction trades. Demoing out sidewalks is not rocket science. Forming up sidewalks is not rocket science. Pouring and finishing concrete is not rocket science. It's a skill. It's pretty easy to develop. In the past, I've done this work with high school students. I've actually done this with people walking down the street. So with that being said, it is my hope that we can find a way to develop a workforce in this area. Construction workers are hard to find. We got a bunch of kids. We've got a wonderful tech school at Edison Tech I know they still have a construction shops, and I'm sure we could work out some manner or form of agreement whereby those high school kids could work in construction during the summer. And whatever I can do to help with that, I will happily do.
Any other questions? President Melendez.
This is an adjacent question, not particularly sidewalk specific, but I wondered if the administration can point me in the future to what the pipeline is for curbing and when those projects get done. Is that part of the milling and resurfacing generally, or is that something that I could find online to see a schedule of when those projects happen? I'm just interested in knowing more about that.
Curb replacements are done through our different projects, like you said, milling and resurfacing, reconstructions, and that. At this time, we don't have a curb-specific program, but it's something that we continue to strive to do. We do not address curbs except in specific locations as they relate to hazardous sidewalks as a part of this program.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Move it.
Second.
Oh, actually, I have a question. So in following up with Councilmember Patterson's comment, I know we already have apprenticeship programs, so would this, a sidewalk apprenticeship, be something that could tie into the existing programs that we have with the trades?
We have apprenticeship programs that are required as a part of, with our contractors as a part of our public bid process. But with that said, there may be adjacent programs that we can work with you on that could parallel our construction.
Okay, and so that would be something that would still be done within DES and not be a separate job readiness program that would be coming out of Human Services, correct?
I think that would be something interesting for us to explore.
Okay, all right, thank you. So a motion and a second, please.
Move it.
Second.
And time for the vote. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Introductory number 55, authorizing an amendatory agreement related to the hazardous sidewalk replacement program Northeast Quadrant Contract 2026, Phase 3 and subsequent annual hazardous sidewalk replacement programs. Questions or comments?
Move it.
Second?
Second.
Now we can vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Introductory number 56, authorizing agreements and appropriation for the Inner Loop North Transformation Project. Any questions or concerns?
Concern.
I'll go with Councilmember Gruber first, followed by Councilmember Patterson.
Thanks. The last I heard on Interloop North from the administration was there was a bunch of traffic studies that were still being finalized. I know there's a lot of community groups that have reached out, community groups and neighbors along the Interloop North who have reached out with questions, concerns, and my response the whole time has been, wait for the study to be done. Study will be done. It'll be presented. And I'm just wondering where we are in that process as we are now, for the first time in quite a while, being asked to publicly endorse the project moving forward.
You are correct. We have had to do a lot of additional due diligence. The Federal Highway Administration has really required us to expand our traffic studies. With that said, I would like to get a schedule back to you on when we anticipate that will be complete and what our intended public outreach will be.
Okay. I would just respectfully ask that there's been a lot. I understand that the goalposts have moved a little bit because of the federal government requiring different things, but I do think that we're very much overdue to go back to. I mean, because some of the community groups, this introductory even lists. The last public meetings about this were August 2024. So we're talking about a year and a half now, and I think that the community groups who both are very much in support of it and who have acknowledged their concern about traffic really need to be talked to somehow, some way. So just if you wouldn't mind sharing the timeline, not just for the studies, but also for the public engagement with those groups, that'd be much appreciated.
Absolutely, and we'll definitely take those comments into consideration as we revisit this.
Thank you.
Councilmember Patterson?
Okay, so wonderful that we're looking to take state dollars to make this investment in the Northeast. Happy to see this happen, and this is engineering. But with that all being said, this should all be applicable to NYSET certification for the design work. So we have minority, female, disabled veteran participation goals from New York State. I would like to see some manner or form of a report on what our utilization plan is for these dollars. 30% of $9 million is not an insignificant amount of money. So I would like to know what the plan is moving forward to, especially with this is engineering. So this is that nice inside work. This ain't outside necessarily in the hot sun. So I really would like to know what the plan is to get those dollars into this community.
Yeah, we can supply a response to you on that.
Okay, thank you.
Now, as part of this project, I know that the Rochester Heating Cooperative was also going to be doing a study. Where are we with that?
We continue to meet with them. We met with them recently and gave them some updated information. We would have to reach out to them to find out where they are with their study.
Because obviously the hope still is that we would be able to bring some kind of a heating system that would go through the whole newly reconstructed area so that those buildings could be serviced.
Correct. They're looking primarily at geothermal.
Mm-hmm.
And how that can be utilized for the community within this project.
Great, thank you.
Council member?
Yes.
Just for what it's worth, we when we provided those dollars, it was directly to Rochester District Heating. So I think at some point, I'm very obviously glad to know that DES is working with them. They need their information to do the study. But I think at some point we can reach back out to RDH and ask for an update on that directly.
Okay. Yeah, that would be great. I can make a note of that. Any other questions or concerns?
Move it.
Second.
Now we can vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Introductory number 57, authorizing the implementation and funding in the first instance of the state aid program eligible costs of a capital project entitled Inner Loop North Transformation and appropriating funds therefor. Any questions, comments, concerns?
Move it.
Second.
Now we can vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Introductory number 58, authorizing a grant application related to the New York State Department of Transportation's Transportation Alternatives Program. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing, Councilmember Gruber.
Yeah, thank you. So the South Avenue two-way conversion project, this is from a 2012 study? Like this is a recommendation from a 2012 study, I should say?
I would say that is where it originated.
And has this has been a kind of long-term goal of the administration or of DES specifically to be able to convert that from one-way to two-way?
Absolutely.
And I presume that in the past 14 years as these conversations have happened, there's been probably plenty of communication with the businesses along the way there?
Yeah, I think that the larger conversation to date, honestly, has been with the state and just how this two-way conversion is going to tie in with 490.
Got it.
Same things around that.
And is the majority of the I wish I had a map in front of me. Shame on me for not. But is the majority of the real estate there that would be converted like the parking garage, like our parking garage?
It would be in front of the parking garage.
Right.
We would have to do modifications within the garage.
But it's like it's the major stakeholders would be city, and then other side is library and convention center. Is that right?
Convention center, absolutely.
Okay.
So we work tightly with the convention center on how they would do deliveries. Really get into the details on that.
So there aren't. It's a small section, so there aren't very many private businesses. It's mostly governmental entities, and as you said, the state who have this. But I presume that if, in fact, I know we're just asking for a grant here. If we received the grant, we would go out and do plenty of public hearings and meetings to let everyone come in and have their say around this, right?
Absolutely.
I'm certainly very supportive of it, but I would imagine there's going to be a lot of opinions.
Yeah, and part of the public outreach is showing how it works with all the rest of the street grid.
Is this a grant? These TAP grants, are they grants that we've gotten many times in the past? Is there a high likelihood here?
We have gotten TAP grants in the past. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Vice President Harris.
Thank you. After we vote on this, will you have to come back to us for another vote?
If we get funding, we would then come back for a consultant, hire a consultant to do the design.
And how many additional community engagements is required for this project?
Oh, I think we'd have to determine that once we put the scope together for the design.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
Comment.
Yes, Councilmember Patterson.
So it's funny, you look at this, especially the South Avenue, and turning it into a two-way, and it just seems a little hairy in your head. But then I remember when we did this with St. Paul, you know, that one looked a little nuts too. We did it, works fine, works well. So I'm sure we will hear plenty of folks who are going, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And yet we've done comparable before. Literally when we went from the area just south of the bus station, where we opened that up to two-way, where it was originally one-way, over by where YWCA is. You can still see that road, parts of that road are still really set up for one-way, but it's a two-way, it works, it's safe. I'm sure this will be the same way, even though as you look at it now and it just looks scary, it'll work out in the end.
Any other comments? Seeing none, I ask for a motion and a
Move it.
second.
Second.
Now we can vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Introductory number 59, authorizing a license agreement for the use of a water sports facility at Genesee Valley Park. Any questions? Yes, Vice President Harris.
Thank you, Chair Monroe. I just have a question to the administration. Could you explain how the dollar annual license fee was determined? Is there a policy that you followed? How do you ensure that there's equity across other nonprofit agencies for recreational uses?
Sure, I can do my best, and then maybe Law can weigh in too. So this is actually, we did issue an RFP previously for this facility. So this is an organization that operates the facility for us. They provide a service at that site that we don't provide internally. So it's a little bit different than some of the other arrangements we have, where we actually have folks that are utilizing our space for other programming. The license fee was a standard number that we utilized, and then they're working hand in glove with us to provide livery programming, kayaking with youth at rec facilities in the community. So kind of a program that we don't have the staffing or expertise to offer the community, but still within the realm of recreation.
Absolutely. And then I am completely supportive of Genesee Waterway Center. I'm just curious on how it's done, because there's a lot of other agencies around the community that try to use our facilities. They're charged a leasing fee, or they're charged a certain fee. Just wanted to just figure out how is it done in an equitable manner, and I'm not sure if this is something legal can talk about. How does that work?
We can get you something in writing.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Move it.
Second.
Now we can vote. All in favor say aye.
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 Nay.
Opposed say nay.
Nay.
Can we do we usually do a roll call for that?
Yep, roll call.
Okay.
Councilmember Monroe,
Aye.
Councilmember Gruber,
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson,
Yes.
Vice President Harris,
No.
President Melendez.
Yes.
Thank you.
The motion carries. Introductory number 60, authorizing an agreement for the recruitment of a veterinarian. Do you have any questions, comments, or concerns? President Melendez, and then Councilmember Martin.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Just a couple questions. I know that obviously this has been an ongoing challenge for us. Appreciate the concept of going out to get a recruitment firm to try to help us figure this out. Have we modified, I know what's stated in the budget book, but have we modified the position to increase the salary in any way, or is this going out at the same rate that we currently have?
Yes, we modified the bracket from a 28 to a bracket 30 about a year and a half ago.
Got it. And in terms of the position, I guess benchmarking against the industry, have we also done that in addition to just doing the bracket change from 28 to 30? Have we looked at, is this what vets are paid in other places?
Well, previously, we worked with HR with a vet recruiter who we got some input for about that. She did request that we increase the bracket. With that said, we went from a 28 to 30 and also recommended that we do some type of signing bonus. So with that said, with this new recruiter, we will be offering in our collateral $7,000 signing bonus. In addition to what she provided to us as far as feedback, she mentioned that the bracket could be based on experience. Right now, the bracket 30 is good. However, we may have to rethink it if it's someone with more experience in that position.
Got it. And it looks like the arrangement is a 2-year term. Hopefully we're not waiting another 2 years, but if we successfully recruit someone, they stay for 60 days and they meet those escalators, does that terminate our agreement or does it still continue for 2 years?
It terminates the agreement once we have successfully hired and retained a candidate.
Great, thank you. I'm all set.
Councilmember Martin, followed by Councilmember Gruber.
Council President asked most of the questions I was going to. Thank you. How many people have interviewed for the position since it's been open?
None.
None. Okay. Thank you.
Councilmember Gruber.
Yeah, I don't have any different questions than Council President asked, but I guess I'm curious the rationale for why so it would seem that the theory is that this is about the search mechanism more than it is about the pay. And my sense, and Stacy and I talked about this when she first started, and I certainly talked about this with Commissioner Green a couple of times. I have a couple of friends who are vets around the country, and they just said that what we were offering just wasn't competitive. So I know this is a functional problem of City Hall. It's the reality of government. It's not just veterinarians. It's architects and engineers and all sorts of different positions as well. But if we're going to spend this kind of money, why not just spend it on making the package sweeter? Or if we're deciding to give a $7,000 signing bonus, why not just do that, well, earlier, but why not do it now and not hire a recruiting firm? Like, I guess I'm just want to understand, why is the search mechanism the problem?
Provide a response in writing.
Okay.
President Melendez.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. So I guess, and this could be in writing too, it's a question I wonder, just given along the same lines of what Councilmember Gruber just said. Could we benchmark against Lollipop and understand what they're paying their vets? If it's the same, then I think the argument becomes moot. But if it's not, then I wonder if down the road, if this doesn't work again, should we be contracting services to another entity at the rate that is required to pay for the service rather than trying to hire internal? That's just a question. Doesn't have to be answered on the floor, but I do wonder if we're not competitive on the salary front, if there's another mechanism to get to the same place.
Anybody else? Okay. I have some questions. Where are we getting our vet services from now?
We currently are contracted with 2 per diem doctors.
And so are they in retirement, or are they also working with another office?
They're general practice veterinarians, so they do have other gigs. They work as per diems, not just for us.
Okay. I'm also wondering who is the authority that has jurisdiction within the city of Rochester to enforce Article 26 of the New York State Ag and Markets Law? That's Chapter 69, dealing with animal cruelty and animal welfare.
That is a criminal law, so any criminal activity in the city has to be enforced by law enforcement, which is not animal control officers who can only enforce city ordinance.
Chief, I see you. Would you be able to respond to that as far as RPD's role?
We need you to speak into the mic, sir. Sorry.
On to those calls, any enforcement action, we refer to the ASPCA. And since there is ongoing litigation about this, I would have to refer to Corporation Counsel Beath to say anything more.
So I guess then, yes, I'm wondering what the litigation is, and then also why RPD then gives control over to the ASPCA when it seems to me that we are not getting the kind of coverage we need for what we're seeing happening to animals outside, especially during this brutal winter.
We can discuss specifics of the litigation in a privileged and confidential setting. RPD does enforce the law in coordination with our partners, including the Humane Society and ASPCA, just like we enforce laws with our partners in the County Monroe Sheriff's Office, et cetera.
But so if there is something and RPD shows up, they're not going to do anything then unless they have partners from the ASPCA?
That's not what I said.
Well, I'm asking.
Wasn't the question.
If RPD is called for an abuse situation and they show up and they don't have ASPCA partners, does that mean that they leave?
If RPD has probable cause to issue an appearance ticket, they will issue an appearance ticket.
And what about then the legal aspects of, and this would just be in the law as far as then taking animals that need to be taken?
So I think what would be most useful is to provide a thorough overview of some examples of response, who responds when, and what dictates that approach. So we'll be happy to provide that in writing.
Yeah, or maybe even if we need to have a meeting. I mean, obviously we had the concerns up in Charlotte when there was, again, a jurisdictional issue and a dog who had already bit another dog then went out and attacked children at the spray park, biting one child and 2 teachers. And it seems to me that we just don't have this tightened up and taken care of. I mean, we've seen that dogs have frozen to death, and it's been an ongoing situation where people are complaining and showing dogs that are kept outside 24 hours and are obviously in poor condition, possibly being fought. And I'd really like to see us take a much more active role to stamp this out.
So I think what would be useful is not only to go through the process, but to go through any specific examples and to make sure that we are providing accurate facts of those circumstances surrounding the response. So we're happy to do that.
Okay. Were any animals taken from Orange Street in the last week?
We'll respond in writing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Councilmember Smith?
Thank you. Can you tell me, how do we issue code blue style alerts for animals? Do we do that the same way we do for our homeless individuals? And if so, are they multilingual alerts as well?
Animal control does not put out any code blue or code red alerts.
Yes.
Do we have clear, I think you might have said this, but just in case I want to reiterate it, and if we can get it in writing, clear internal protocols defining adequate shelter and extreme weather exposure for animals.
Yeah, I think definitely happy to provide that in writing and make sure we're getting, these are very important questions. We want to make sure that we answer them correctly. And I will say we're at a level of specificity that I wasn't necessarily expecting for this meeting, which is great. But we will provide a proper response in writing and then any follow-up that we need to have through meeting or whatever else could be useful.
Thank you.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes, this is for Director Stacy. Can you talk through what you're hoping the recruitment firm is able to do that the Department of Human Resources or the existing leadership may need support with. I'm really trying to understand the you all's logic. I'm going to support because it's something you are proposing. I think we all have the same interest, and it's been open for a while. But just curious about what you're thinking.
I think that's more of a question for HR than for me. I'm in this process. I'm following HR's lead, right? I'm not necessarily the hiring manager. I'm trying. My department is looking for the doctor. I will play an active role in making sure that we have a good fit. But as far as the process of getting those candidates to even apply for the position, that is a function of HR and not necessarily one of my responsibilities.
That's helpful. Thank you. And is someone from HR here?
They are not, but we will get you a response to that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I do have one, and this can be provided in writing. I'm just wondering what the percentage of animals that are returned who are adopted out and then get returned again, and then what our process is for vetting potential adoptees so that we can get good matches. And then also I would want to know the arrests that we have had for animal cruelty, which could be part of, I'm hoping perhaps we could do a P&C on this larger issue. Okay, thank you. Can I have a motion?
Move it.
I'll take the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Introductory number 62, a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $800,000 bonds of said city to finance the Hemlock Lake Dam Shoreline Protection Phase 2 project. Have any questions or concerns?
Second.
Now we can vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Introductory number 63, authorizing agreement and appropriation for the Hemlock Lake Dam Shoreline Protection Phase 2 project. Any questions, comments?
Move it.
Now for the vote, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. The motion carries. Now with no further business before the People, Parks, and Public Works Committee, we stand adjourned.
We'll give a couple of minutes to let everyone find their seats, about a minute or so.
Y'all can't hear me? Y'all can't hear me? Turn it up. Gotcha. Okay.
Good evening. Today is Thursday, February 12th, 2026. At this time, I will call the Public Safety Committee to order, and I ask the clerk to call the roll.
Vice President Harris.
Here.
Councilmember Gruber. Councilmember Leslie Smith is excused. Councilmember Lupien.
Also excused.
Also excused. Councilmember Martin.
Here.
Councilmember Monroe.
Here.
Councilmember Patterson.
Here.
Councilmember Smith.
Here.
President Melendez.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Clerk Washington. Tonight, I would like to talk about something simple, something powerful, something that can mean the difference between life and death. I'd like to bring awareness to Heart Health Safe, our Heart Safe City initiative, and the fact that my colleagues, a few of my colleagues and I, just by happenstance, to be wearing red tonight in honor of Go Red, and also recognizing, this is Heart Month, CPR Heart Month, American Heart Month. I want to talk about hands-only CPR. Every year, thousands of people across our country suffer from sudden cardiac arrest. Those of you who may not know, I am a paramedic. I'm a New York State registered paramedic. I'm a national registered paramedic. And I just want you guys to know that this is something that plagues our city and thousands of other locations around the country. It does not happen in just hospitals. It happens in living rooms, barbershops, churches, grocery stores, on our sidewalks, right here in Rochester. When cardiac arrest strikes, every second matters. Brain damage can occur 4 to 6 minutes. But emergency responders, even our outstanding Rochester Fire Department and AMR teams, and of course our 911 center, and sometimes our Rochester Police Department, cannot always arrive there in time to prevent tragedy on their own. That's where we, all of us, come in. Hands-only CPR is exactly what it sounds like. Call 911 and push hard and fast in the center of your chest on the breastbone. No mouth-to-mouth, no complicated steps, just steady chest compressions at a rate of 100 to 120 beats per minute while you're thinking of Staying Alive, the song by the Bee Gees. It's simple, it is effective, and it saves lives. Studies show that immediate CPR can double and even triple a person's chances of survival. I should know. I'm a paramedic, and I'm also a CPR instructor certified by American Heart Association. Yet, too often, bystanders hesitate. They worry about doing it wrong. They fear liability. They feel unsure. But let me be clear. Doing something is always better than doing nothing. In New York State, we are protected by the Good Samaritan law. And for those of you who know your Bible, the Good Samaritan, Luke chapter 25-29, the Good Samaritan story, a parable told by our Lord Jesus Christ. So, the Good Samaritan the law protects individuals who step in to help during an emergency. In communities like ours, where health disparities persist and access is not always equal, we must empower residents with the tools that level the playing field. Cardiac arrest survival should not depend on your zip code. It should not depend on your income, and it definitely shouldn't depend on luck. It should depend on community readiness. Imagine if every high school student in Rochester learned hands-only CPR before graduation. Imagine if every church usher, barber, child care provider, bus driver, recreation staff member were trained. Imagine if every neighborhood association meeting began with 5 minutes of CPR refresher. We could become a city where survival rates rise because neighbors refuse to stand by. This is not just a health initiative. This is a community commitment. We can partner with our hospitals, our schools, our faith leaders, and our public safety agencies to expand free training sessions. We can use social media to spread awareness. We can host demonstrations at community block clubs and festivals. We also can place AEDs in accessible, visible locations and ensure residents know how to use them. The goal is simple. When someone's heart stops, Rochester responds. Not with panic, not with hesitation, but with action. Each of us have two hands. With knowledge and courage, with these two hands, we can restart the heart. With these two hands, we can save a mother, a brother, a friend, a child. Let us be the generation that says, in Rochester, we don't wait, we act, we learn, we lead, and we save lives. So with that being said, I have a video for those of you who are listening and looking at this on YouTube or at home. We'll show this 1 minute, 34-second video for you to refresh CPR. We need volume. No volume. Thank you. So with that being said, I hope that you guys will consider learning CPR, and you can go to the cityofrochester.gov and look up the Heart State City Initiative to learn more about it. And then I've also included our city council member received the public safety updates for 2026 February, and then we also should have included the fire department CERT training, 2026 community emergency response training that is available to our public for free. Is that correct, Chief? So I'll make sure that this updated non-draft copy is shared with our city council members. And with that being said, I'll go on to the order of the business of this committee. Introductory number 61, authorizing a mandatory agreement for the fire station alerting system. Any questions, comments, or concerns? I need a motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carry. With no further business, the Public Safety Committee stands adjourned.
Council members, we do have a work session 2 a day for MBD projects, 5 o'clock.